we're going to get into some of the basics now about self-esteem. First of all, what is it? And I have a wonderful definition from a kid. I know what self-esteem is. Self-esteem means going outside in the middle of wintertime and talking, and you can see your breath. That's self-esteem. Isn't that great? Not very useful, but it's really cute. Okay, a more useful definition of self-esteem means esteeming myself. It means knowing that you are lovable, knowing that you are worthwhile, knowing that you are valuable, knowing that you are important, knowing that you are okay right down to your toes. Self-esteem says, I'm terrific and so are you. Self-esteem says, I'm a winner and so are you. You're a winner too. It's a win-win concept, and it's very, very different from egotism. Now with self-esteem, it's easier to do it right in the first place when your kids are little than it is to try to repair damaged self-esteem later on. But you know what, folks? We can't turn back the clock, can we? We can't say, well, scratch those 5 years, we'll start all over. All we can do is start where we are now. Now, people and children who feel good about themselves, who know they are precious, are good to themselves, and they take good care of themselves. People who don't know that they are worthwhile, who have low self-esteem, tend to get into behaviors that are destructive to themselves and to other people. So one of the best things that you can do to prevent a lot of the problems that we have in our society, such as eating disorders, violence, drug and alcohol abuse, teen pregnancy, school failure, suicide, is to build self-esteem in your kids. Now, how do kids acquire self-esteem? One way is the way that they acquire everything else through modeling. They watch every single thing that you do, and they copy it. And I'm sure you've noticed when you're doing something and your kid is right next to you doing the very same thing. Have you ever had a strong word slip out and there you hear this little echo saying the same? How many of you have had that experience? Okay. You know then that they copy or they model everything that you do. So one of the best ways that you can build self-esteem in your children is to increase your own self-esteem. And the higher your self-esteem is, the higher the kid's self-esteem will be automatically. And during the course of our time together, I will teach you some skills for increasing your own self-esteem. Now, the next way that the kids learn self-esteem is very interesting. And it's the way that you learn self-esteem. Kids watch everything that happens to them. They don't miss a thing. And then they conclude. For example, the kids notice if you look at them, how you look at them. If you touch them, how you touch them. Whether you're smiling, whether you're frowning. And they conclude, I'm important, I'm not important. I can trust him, I can't trust him. She loves me, she doesn't love me. I matter, I don't matter. And that's how you learned about yourself when you were little. And you probably still do. Now, this conclusion tends to become their truth about the way the world is, about the way they are. It becomes a belief about who they are. Now, the problem is that sometimes these conclusions are faulty. So it's really important for you to examine the beliefs that you have about yourself, your truths about the world, about your family, about your parents, about yourself. Because what may have been true for you when you were 7 years old is only one way of looking at it now. The hook here is whatever kids get, they believe they deserve. So when children are treated with great respect, lots of love and caring, lots of valuing, they conclude that that's what they deserve in life. And they can recreate those things for themselves for the rest of their lives. On the other hand, when children are abused, they often believe that they deserve it. that they had it coming. And when children believe they deserve abuse, they can recreate abuse for themselves for the rest of their lives. Yet nobody deserves abuse. Nobody. Okay, now there's 2 dimensions of parenting. These are some of the basics that I want to cover. Over here at the left we have 0, which means birth. Over here we have A, which stands for adulthood or autonomy. If we put a number in, what number would you suggest that we put in there? When do kids finally have it together? They're finally grown up? Who will share? What? 4? 40? Somewhere in between. Okay, now, the first dimension of parenting is love. That starts at birth, hopefully before birth. Sight unseen, you love that, whatever it is. You love it. You love it. And that goes on even after your kid is grown up, after adulthood. Even after one of you dies, the love will still be there. And what it looks like and feels like is understanding, tenderness, affection, empathy, forgiveness, appreciation, encouragement, believing in them, affection, all those things. That's what love looks like and feels like. And it needs to be real solid. I love you no matter what. Even if you spend 3 years in kindergarten, honey, I will still love you. I probably won't like it, but I will still love you. Okay? Now, the next dimension looks like this. And what that is protection, setting limits, and responsibility. And when your kids are little, you've got it all, and you know that. And as they get older, then you can start turning it over bit by bit to them. So your kid comes to you and says, look, Ma, look, Dad, I can tie my shoes all by myself. You say, wonderful, now you can tie your shoes all by yourself. And bit by bit, in a somewhat systematic fashion, we turn responsibility over to them. We don't need to protect them as much as they are getting older. By the time they are adults, we don't need to be protecting them because they can protect themselves. We don't need to be setting their limits because they can be setting their own limits. And we don't need to be responsible for them because they are basically responsible for themselves. And you have worked yourself out of a job. That's the way it works. Now, these are the things that you needed from your parents when you were little and hopefully got. And these are the things that your children need from you.